Hi there, I'm Victoria and Spencer-Kibble from Vast Therapy, and I help professionals with their grief and their sadness so they feel happy again, just like they did before. You see, grief feels so much like fear, and with that fear comes from the love that you had for the lost one, whether it be a partner, a husband, a wife, a child, an animal. Really doesn't matter. It's just a loss, and the mind doesn't like loss because it's a negative thing. And what happens with fear as well, it's the fear of what comes next, and with what comes next with future thinking. And of course, with future thinking and thinking negatively in future thinking, anxiety sets in. So the stress around the situation intensifies and the anxiety really truly kicks in. There's also a shame with grief as well, a shame, a guilt, and definitely some trust as well, because whether it's a sudden death or something that you know that's coming, there's still that guilt of outliving somebody, or the guilt of you could have done something to prevent it, or the who to trust to help you with just simple things like choosing the music for a funeral. When you become widowed terribly young, then you never discuss what you're going to play, the music you're going to play at the funeral, the service, anything like that. You do that kind of thing halfway through your life, and also for your retirement. And when it's a young death, you're not prepared for that, whether it be a child or a spouse or a partner. So that is a massive fear, and also fear of the future, what's going to happen next. And with that fear of the future also comes with who to trust, because you kind of become very withdrawn. It's quite a lonely situation to be in, because you do feel isolated. You feel like you're the only one going through it, even though other people are, obviously, because you are not the only person who's loved the lost one. There is that trust and that fear of, what am I going to do next? And I actually remember saying that, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because there's proper panic, and being able to trust people is, for me, is really, really important. Just talk to people when they've gone through grief. Don't ignore them. I know it's difficult. I know it's uncomfortable, but just approach them. Just say hello. How are you? You know the answer to that question, but you just being there dissipates that loneliness, that feeling alone, feeling that they're going through this on their own. And that's all we really want, is just in those initial stages, is just to have somebody listen to us, an ear, a friendly ear, a friendly shoulder to cry on. Because definitely when you hold those emotions in, they will manifest certainly somewhere in your body, and you don't want to bottle up those emotions. But for me, definitely fear in the beginning, just simply it's obscure things that you would never think of till you're actually going through it. And it's the fear of the next birthday, the fear of the next photograph you're going to take, the fear of the next wedding anniversary, the fear of the next school play if you've got children that you're going to have to attend on your own, the fear of somebody asking you out for the first time because you're not ready yet. There's no right time for that stage, and it normally hits you when you least expect it. So fear of being judged. When you have never gone through personal grief, as in being a widow, never judge anyone till you've lived in their shoes, because you don't know how they're feeling. If they have the chance of happiness again, they should take it. To get it once in life is amazing. to get it twice in life is extraordinary. So the fear of loving again, the fear of laughing again, the fear of being happy again, the fear of going to bed alone, it's just endless. So grief very much feels like fear. And for me, the grief wound, because there is always a wound, we don't move on, which lots of people say you should move on now. You don't move on, you move forward. But that grief wound, for me, certainly is where the light shines from me. It's where it proves there was love and there continues to be love. Just because somebody's not physically here anymore doesn't mean that they weren't loved. So for me, it's important to talk about that last one, to include them on special occasions, to think of them when you're doing the new experiences that you think that they probably would have enjoyed, and you're doing them within them in your mind. But yeah, the grief wound definitely shines the light of love from you and also to you as well. And that wound is always open. So whether people have 5 stages of grief or 7 stages of grief, being shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, testing, and then finally acceptance, don't expect them in any order. They come and they go. It's just like the waves of an ocean. Sometimes they're really fierce and strong and they completely take you out. And then other times they're small and they're just ebbing away at you. But you don't move on, you move forward. And you're allowed to move forward, because remember that your loved ones will want you to be happy. The love that you had for them, they want you to have that still and have it again. Certainly for me now, I would want, if I passed, I would want my children to still find love and have love in their life, just because I'm no longer here. So it's exactly the same for your lost one, especially if it's a sudden loss. There is some kind of preparation when you're expecting it, but then I also feel there's grief before the loss, which is worse. I don't know. That is a question I can't answer, and I wouldn't want to. But either way, just be that friendly ear. Ask them, are you okay? They're going to cry. Let them cry. Let those emotions out, because they've got to heal. They must feel. And that's really important. To heal, they must feel. And whatever those emotions are, let them feel them, because they will feel the anger, they will feel the tears will flow, the frustration, the lack of trust, the fear. All the different stages will go through, and don't expect them to be over it in just a year as well. There's no set time on grief. Grief stays with us. That grief wound, as I like to call it, stays with us for the rest of our lives. Sometimes it opens a little bit, sometimes it closes and heals a little bit, but we cannot say when it will be in what stage. So just give people time, and know that make sure that they don't feel alone, because it can be a very lonely time. Certainly for me, it was the period between the actual passing and the funeral, and trying to make all those awful decisions where you've got to decide on music and how the service is going to go and how other people are going to think about what you choose, and is it right what you choose? Would the loved one have liked what you've chosen? What the clothes that you put them in when they're cremated or buried, are those the right clothes? Especially when they're a young being, that's really hard, because there's an expectation when people are older, but when they're young, it really is such a thing that you've never even expected to think of. So yes, for me, certainly, let them get over that initial paralysis, but be there and don't disappear out their lives. They truly need you. They don't want to feel isolated. So don't cross over the road when you see them. Don't avoid them. Don't not pick up the phone. They really need you at that time, and they're reaching out for a reason. So That's my little thought of the day today. Yeah, just allow them to feel, to heal, certainly. And remember, there's a lot of fear. It feels, grief very much feels like fear. And as it's Friday, it's Fabulous Friday, know that you will not move on, but you will move forward. So let's have a fabulous Friday, and remember, inspire to achieve and achieve to inspire. Thanks, guys. Bye.